my name is Lindsay, and I think the most appropriate way to open this video was to say I'm getting divorced. That's sort of the catalyst for me deciding to jump on here. A few weeks ago, I started a blog, so I'm writing things in this very beautiful, artistic way. But I really think that that sort of just misses a part of who I am, and it misses a lot of my life. I have another YouTube channel that I talk about just a specific diagnosis that I have. And while I think that that's a great thing, I really do enjoy talking about it. It's very much a compartmentalized part of myself where I literally just say, here's my diagnosis, here's what the doctor said, goodbye. But I'm missing so many other things that happen in my life. So I have my blog that's talking about some of the difficult things that I'm going through. But sometimes it's just easier to talk about things. And as an aspiring mental health counselor, about a year and a half away from doing that, I sometimes it's just easier to say things out loud. And I think that maybe it'll help somebody who's going through similar things. I would kind of like it to be more of a vlog type channel, I guess. But I don't know. We'll just see where it goes. It's really light in here. Like, this light is bright. I'm trying to figure out a way to do it. Oh well. Hopefully it adjusts to itself. So, right now, just as an introduction to myself, I am 32 years old. I live in Indianapolis. I'm a graduate student studying mental health counseling. I work a full-time job. I am a supervisor of people, and I work in the field of developmental disabilities. Just leave it at that. Like I said, the biggest part of my life right now is probably going through a divorce. I was married for 5 years with the guy for 6. I got married in 2012, September 2012. And in September of, it's funny because I met him in September 2011, married him in September 2012, and I asked for divorce in September 2017. Woohoo, September. So I have been on this 3-year journey of me trying to find myself and change all these terrible habits because that have come out of things that have happened in my life. And I've really become a very much more evolved and happy and independent woman, standing on my own 2 feet. I'm very, very grateful for my therapist. It's been amazing. The person I was when I walked in there 3 years ago is nowhere near the person I am today. Seriously. So amazing stuff, and I will say that. Had I not really committed to the therapy process 3 years ago, I would not have been strong enough to go through this divorce or to ask for it or stick to my guns. So I have a blog, like I said, that I talk about those things, but I think that, again, this is just more helpful. I am right now in a place where I feel like everything's falling apart. I'm having some issues within my family. I'm having issues at my work. I'm having this weird thing where I'm trying to find out who my friends are and who they aren't, and I'm realizing that sometimes people are in your life for a season, and it's okay for you to say, you know what, I don't think we're great friends, but let's work together, and just really standing up for myself. So all of these things that I learned in therapy over the last few years, I feel like I'm kind of in my final exam period where it's like, okay, you said you were worth it. Are you really worth it? And, you said that you're a strong person and can stand up for yourself, but what about now? So it's really like this very cathartic experience that is packaged in a whole shit ton of pain and suffering. But it's good, and I'm having fun doing it, which is very odd, and it sounds very like twisted, that I'm really enjoying the amount of pain I'm going through. But you would have to know the fact that I really keep myself from feeling things. So I obviously am overweight, more than overweight, and I struggle with binge eating disorder. I struggle with anxiety and depression and severe social anxiety, but binge eating disorder is a coping skill that I've found that works personally for me. It works. It does its job of numbing things. It's not healthy. It's not a good way to do things. And that's something that I will, once I kind of focus and figure out all these other things, that eventually that will be something that I am able to work on. But that's a hugely emotional issue for me. So it is what it is. You get fat Lindsay for a while. It's fine. I am learning to be in a house by myself. I have this huge house to myself. It's not a huge house. It's a normal 3-bedroom suburban house. It's not huge by any means, but for one person living in it, it feels huge because I went from, having three people in this house. I had a husband and a stepdaughter, to just me by myself. That's been a difficult part too, is losing a stepdaughter. I went from being a mother, and a very highly involved mother. I was not a stepmom. I was a mom, and she had lots of special needs going on, lots of early childhood trauma, diagnoses of reactive attachment disorder, oppositional defiant disorder, ADHD, very much same narcissistic tendencies that her father has, but she was a tough cookie. So I was really all in, and I really lost that part of my identity, and that's been difficult trying to figure out who I am when I'm apart from those things. My marriage ended because my husband did really shitty things to me. I have unofficially, inappropriately diagnosed him as a narcissist. I think that he deals with a lot of the early childhood trauma stuff that his child does, but 100% of what he does is very narcissistic, very emotionally abusive, emotionally controlling. Never physically abusive, thank goodness, but absolutely controlled emotions and controlled a lot of aspects of my life. So, I will say that I have always struggled with my self-image and being confident and feeling worthy and not only caring about other people. And my marriage was no different than that. When I was dating him, I found out 3 months into us dating that he was talking to other girls and sending pictures of his junk. Stayed, and I listened to him when he said he wouldn't do it again. Found it when we were 2 months from getting married. Still stayed with him. I feel that the low self-esteem, the not feeling confident or good enough, is something that people with that narcissistic personality feed on. I think he smelled it on me, and I completely fell right in line with it. And it's gotten worse over the years. I can think of, in the 6 years we were together, I can think of at least 12 times that I found him what I thought was talking to other people. But, as the line goes along, it's not just talking to other people, it's sending pictures and actually sleeping with other people. And there are so many issues that I can talk about throughout our marriage that it's just this long, complicated thing. So I knew it was happening, and I was not strong enough to leave. The stronger I got and the closer I got to saying that, the more he messed up. So very typical timeline with those sort of things. And I just got to the point where I said enough was enough. I think, like Dr. Phil says, you work on things until there's no emotions left. And I always thought that meant that there would be no feelings and it wouldn't hurt. It'd just be like, okay, check please. But it's not what it means. It means that you're no longer in this like emotional turmoil. Because what happened when the last time I found out he was sleeping with people, it's right now, November 11th, 2017, and it was around September 12th, 15th that I found out this last time, and I texted him very calmly and said, thanks for 5 years, see ya, buddy. And so I knew that it was done because normally when I find out those things, I get very shaky and very angry and very nervous, and my stomach is quivering and so much anxiety. And I found it out, and I literally felt like peace and sadness. And I can only liken it to back when my grandma passed away a couple years ago, where it was just this heavy sadness. And it really just felt like a loss to me rather than me being angry and so mad at him. And we didn't raise our voices then, and we really haven't raised our voices since. He's been a little emotionally over the top when he found out that I was not going to continue to play with him in that way. But outside of that, it's been okay. So I am just sort of trying to adjust to being this new strong person, and I'm adjusting to having different friends and finding out who is there for me and who is not, finding out who likes that I'm a strong, independent woman and who does not. And I'm learning just to be on my own. And I'm struggling a bit because I have literally never been on my own. I live with my parents up until I got married. And actually, when I started dating my husband, he moved in with my parents too at like 3 months. Then I was with him for 5 years. So I've never been on my own. I've never been self-sufficient. And it really sucks being a 32-year-old and saying that. But that's the truth. it is what it is. And that's really sort of, it's been my mantra for a while, but now it really makes sense to me that it's not good or bad, it just is. And so that's just the reality that I lived. So I'm hoping for this just to be sort of like, I guess, to vlog. I don't know how often I'll do it, but I would hope that it's just sort of like the stream of my consciousness, because I don't even remember half of what I said in this 10 minutes. But I think it's important for me just to get things out there and just not have them all in my head all the time and not worry about telling the same people the same things over and over again, and just be really candid and talk about this stuff. So that's where I'm at. We'll see how things go. We'll see how often I am here, but I appreciate anybody listening or watching, and I appreciate the outlet, if nothing else. So have a good night.